guys, it's Jamie here from Jamie and his whiskey. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm back for another whiskey review and I'm very happy to be reviewing this particular 10-year-old for you today. It's none other than the Springbank 10-year-old from the Campeltown region of Scotland. Now Springbank is one of 3 distilleries left in the Campbelltown region. Campbelltown used to be a huge hub for whisky production back in the day, and due to the depression and many other issues which I actually briefly covered in my Glen Scotia review, there's only 3 left, but Springbank was there in 1828 and it's still there today. It's a very small family owned business and they do everything by hand. Very traditional methods. They even have their own malting floor still, and it's very exciting to review because it's bottled at 46%. There's been absolutely no chill filtering taking place in this whiskey at all. 0 colour, so it ticks all the boxes for me. And let's see how that translates to the taste. So, I thought I'd pour 2 drams before doing this review so I could show you the difference in what adding water makes to whiskies that haven't been chill filtered. And this whiskey, above all the other whiskies that I've tried, has been the most impressive to me in terms of how much Scotch mist appears in the glass when you add water. Now before I go on, and I'll be brief because I want to go on reviewing this whiskey and I can save this subject for another video, but chill filtration is basically a process where the manufacturers will take a whiskey and they will do this process called chill filtering. It will remove a lot of the barley oils and wood extracts which remain in the whiskey, and this is purely for a cosmetic reason, because for some reason, and they could be right, the whiskey industry thinks that most casual whiskey drinkers or people in pubs don't want their whiskey to go cloudy when they add water or ice, which will happen to a whiskey that hasn't had chill filtration. Now I'll show you what I mean by this, and this is a good sign. This is what you want. Okay, so I poured 2 whiskies. The first one is straight out of the bottle before I've added water, okay? So if you look at that, and then this is after adding the water. I don't know if you can see the difference on camera, I sure hope you can, but to me, it's hugely apparent. That's before water, and that is after the water has been added, and you've got this beautiful, cloudy Scotch mist, it's called. I think the minimum amount of filtration has gone into this. Maybe a bit of barrier filtration, but that's it. And you can really tell. So I'll leave that bit and cover that in more depth in another video. So let's get on with tasting it and seeing how all this translates over to the palate. Now the Campbelltown region, as I said, they've got 3 distilleries. The Springbank, the Glen Scotia, and the Glengyle distillery, who make Kilkerran. I've already reviewed the Glen Scotia, which was a lovely whiskey, and this one is pretty damn good too. So the 10-year-old is their youngest expression that they do. They also do a 12-year-old cask strength, a 15, an 18, and a 21-year-old. So I'm going to hopefully get around to the 12 and 15-year-old at some point. So let's try the 10-year-old. Okay, so this is without the water added. Okay. First impressions. It's immediately got a slightly strange nose. It's very pleasant, but it's not necessarily straightforward. But the first thing you're hit with is this, I get orange and citrus. You get quite a lot of oak on the nose. and damp sort of medicinal note. There is some peat in this whiskey. It's not huge, so much on the nose. I think it translates more over to the palate, if I'm honest. And it does have that slight marine quality, like it's been made by the sea. So there is that slight hint of sea air. Okay, let's have a taste. Full impact. Initially, you get hit quite hard with the alcohol. It is 46%. Quite sharp, especially if you're used to the milder generic whiskies. But then that sharpness quite quickly subsides and you're left with this quite mouth-watering orange citrus. And definitely this is not so much the sweet orange, this is like orange peel, lemon peel. It's kind of got a very distinct bitterness to it. Some saltiness. There's a good helping of oak as well. Quite a lot of oak in this whiskey. And then that underneath it all, you've got this nice smoke. And when I say smoke, it's not like a live bonfire smoke. It's kind of more of a, it plays well with the oak, so it sort of mingles in with the oak. Slight medicinal, I guess, you could say. The finish, I'd say, is about medium in length. The thing that stays with you longest, I would say, is the smoke. For a 10-year-old, it's complex, slightly challenging. I don't think a beginner would appreciate this as much as someone who's been around the block, as myself. Not that I've been around the block that much, but enough that I can appreciate this for what it is. It's got a lot of character. Now, when this whiskey comes into its own, is when you add the water. So as I said, I previously added water. I mean, it's getting cloudier by the minute. Look, that's without the water, and that's with the water. Okay? There you go. That's a sign of quality. I'll stop banging on about it now. Right. I think adding the water all of a sudden just makes this whiskey come alive. You get more notes of vanilla now, and those pleasant vanilla notes. On the taste, caramel, I believe, if I remember, comes up. Yeah, a lot more approachable. The arrival is a lot more measured, and you can add quite a bit of water to this whiskey without drowning it. I'm not saying put teaspoons in, but let's say in a 20, 25 millimeter, 30 millimeter glass, you could put in a small teaspoonful of water and it will hold it really, really well. I mean, because of the way it's been made and the presentation of the whiskey, it will hold water and it won't strip away the mouthfeel. You still get a substantial mouthfeel, which makes such a difference and contributes so much to how the flavour is delivered. Yeah, it's a really, really complex, interesting, slightly challenging whiskey. Might not be for everyone, might not be for your beginners, but I think most people, and I think the consensus is for most people who've been around the block, this is held in quite high regard, and I'm really, really looking forward to trying the older expressions. Now, in terms of price point for Springbank, Springbank 10 I should say, you're talking about paying an extra maybe 5 to 10 quid more than you would do for your regular 10-year-old single malt whiskey. It tends to go online for around the mid-40s, that kind of area, 43 to 48, something like that. So some people might look at that and think that's a little bit much for them. Why would I want to pay that for a 10-year-old? Well, the reason is you're getting something that's had a bit more loving care put into it from a family-owned distillery. And that is what you're paying for. If I had to give it a mark, I think I'm going to settle on an 89 for now. It's well worth that. It's definitely Jamie and his whiskey recommended. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back soon with another review for you. As ever, please like, share and subscribe if you can. Share this video with your friends and take care of yourselves. I'll be back soon. This is Jamie and his whiskey signing out. Take care. Bye bye.